Gildan Media, a division of Recorded Books, presents Unnecessary Evil, Managing Employee Activity on Facebook, LinkedIn, and the hundreds of other social media sites, by Aliah D. Wright, narrated by Emily Beresford. This publication is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information regarding the subject matter covered. It is sold with the understanding that neither the publisher nor the author is engaged in rendering legal or other professional service. If legal advice or other expert assistance is required, the services of a competent, licensed professional should be sought. The federal and state laws discussed in this book are subject to frequent revision and interpretation by amendments or judicial revisions that may significantly affect employer or employee rights and obligations. Listeners are encouraged to seek legal counsel regarding specific policies and practices in their organizations. This book is published by the Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM. The interpretations, conclusions, and recommendations in this book are those of the author and does not necessarily represent those of the publisher. Forward. Every generation faces the same challenge: the ongoing and sometimes relentless pace of change. Usually, the younger generation is the agent of that change, prodding older generations into acceptance and accommodation. Then that generation eventually looks up and suddenly sees an oncoming generation doing the same thing, pushing for new changes and developments. It's just the natural order, and it's positive. It brings discovery and enlightenment, exciting new ways of getting things done, and rewarding and enriching new ways of valuing and utilizing the differences of people around the world. Fortunately, both the young and the not-so-young are blessed with the interpretive talents of researchers, writers, and emerging thought leaders like Aliah Wright. With her wit and bright tone, she guides us all through the main highways and side streets of the most important pathway of change since the birth of the digital era: the phenomenon of social media. Unnecessary Evil, Managing Employee Activity on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the hundreds of other social media sites is a necessary roadmap, whether we are just starting the journey or learning to master it. At the Society for Human Resource Management, we remind our members that change is always present, whether it comes from new government laws and regulations or from innovative competition in an expanding global economy. The message is simple: adapt or risk becoming irrelevant. So also goes the gospel for the reality of social media. It's not a fad destined to fade away. It has proven itself to be truly transformative, part of a technological and social revolution. It can streamline communications, affect markets, and help foster engaged employees, and even boost the bottom line. Employers and employees alike must understand the distinct possibilities and effects of social media. For instance, employers must develop balanced social media policies that encourage open communication while still protecting the organization's brand. Employees need to appreciate that what's posted is permanent and that there are no real secrets. Social messaging has the potential to improve the quality of life, but it can also affect livelihoods and career opportunities. As Aliah writes in the following, change is never easy. But thanks to navigators and translators like Aliah, we do know what it is, and we know how to make it work for us. As she states, all we need to do is embrace it. Henry G. Hank Jackson, CPA, is President and CEO of the Society for Human Resource Management, the world's largest organization devoted to human resources. 1. It's social media. Forget control. Adopt integration. In the bigger picture, HR professionals must fully engage in social media in order to understand its attraction, its risk, and also its great potential. Eva Del Rio, President and Founder, HR Pro On Demand. She walks into your office and hands you a sheet of paper. It is a printout of a colleague's Facebook status update. It reads, "This place is a hellhole. If I had a car today, I would up and quit." The post is a real Facebook status update taken from a discussion on HR Talk, the Society for Human Resource Management's bulletin board. The question posed was, what should be the next step for the manager? Discussion? Termination? Nothing? Good question. Employers are responding in myriad ways to the things their employees do on social networking sites. After the fact. Consider these real-life scenarios. 1. HMV, an entertainment retailer in Britain, laid off nearly 200 employees on January 31, 2013. Someone on the company's social media team used the Twitter account to send out this tweet. "We're tweeting live from HR where we're all being fired. Exciting! Hashtag HMV X Factor firing." Within 30 minutes, that tweet had gone viral, and several other people within the company began tweeting about the mass terminations. Another tweet followed. "Just overheard our marketing director. He's staying, folks. Ask, how do I shut down Twitter? Hashtag HMV X Factor firing." 2. In another case, an employee decided that she was going to take a picture of a coworker's cubicle and post it to her Facebook page with a status like slob or something along those lines. Janine Truitt, senior HR representative at Brookhaven National Laboratory, said of an incident relayed to her. The woman was friends with a few of the clients of this company, and they saw the picture and commented. It became a joke online until one of those clients print-screened the page and sent it to her boss. The woman who posted the photo was fired, and 2 other employees were cited for similar derogatory writing on the Facebook post, Truitt said. 3. Shortly after President Barack Obama was elected, the president's then-chief speechwriter, 27-year-old Jon Favreau, was seen in a Facebook photo groping a cardboard cutout of newly appointed Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton as someone else placed a bottle of beer to her lips. Favreau apologized and kept his position until he resigned in March 2013. 4. Who could forget the infamous Cisco fatty tweet? In 2009, 22-year-old Connor Riley reportedly tweeted this to the world. "Cisco just offered me a job. Now I have to weigh the utility of a fatty paycheck against the daily commute to San Jose and hating the work." Afterward, Tim Levod, who was affiliated with Cisco, fired back. "Who's the hiring manager? I'm sure they would love to know that you will hate the work. We here at Cisco are versed in the web." Riley did not get the job. 5. Sergeant Gary Stein, a 9-year military veteran, was cited for misconduct, and a military panel suggested he be dishonorably discharged and lose his pension and security clearance for posting disparaging comments about President Obama on his Facebook page. 6. Dr. June Talvey-Disciple lost her $92,000 a year job as a high school supervisor for math and science in Cohasset, Massachusetts, after parents found comments on her Facebook page referring to students as germ bags and town residents as arrogant and snobby. Now, let's say, for example, some employees you supervise go on Facebook on their own time and disparage your company publicly in a profane manner, and the post goes viral. The ensuing publicity creates a firestorm, and it is a huge disaster for your firm. Your CEO walks into your office and demands to know whether you can fire these people. What do you say? Do you know anything about labor relations law and whether employees have the right to have discussions about work on the internet, whether they are in the office or at home? Do you have a social media policy? Most companies do not. In fact, research from SHRM in 2011 revealed that companies with 99 or fewer employees were less likely to have a policy compared with organizations with 100 or more employees. As a manager, you need to get in front of situations like this before they happen and before they ruin your company's reputation or cost you your job. In the case of HMV, perhaps confiscating the password to the company's main social media accounts and acting with transparency about pending layoffs could have averted the social media firestorm, which obviously ensued because the employees were shocked to find out they were being let go. The days of employers controlling the message are gone. In HMV's case, however, the employer could have softened the blow by trusting its employees with the news of the impending layoffs before the last possible moment, especially given the company had been having financial problems. Now, let's take a look at the case of American Medical Response of Connecticut, Inc. In 2010, the National Labor Relations Board, NLRB, a federal agency that protects the rights of employees to organize to better their working conditions and pay, issued a complaint against American Medical Response after it fired an employee who used her home computer to post a profanity-laced tirade about her supervisor on her personal Facebook page. The post included comments from some of her coworkers. It was quickly dubbed the Facebook firing case by the press. The NLRB, for the first time, found that an employee's Facebook posts were protected speech, meaning employees have the right to complain about working conditions, even online. It also found that the company's blogging and internet posting policy had illegal guidelines, including one that kept employees from making disparaging comments when talking about their organization or its supervisors, and another that prohibited employees from depicting the company in any way over the internet without company permission. There are dozens of stories like these, real stories, of employees engaging in odd or egregious behavior on social networking sites. So many, in fact, we could fill an entire book about them. How are business leaders, managers, and HR professionals handling situations like these? Some are handling them as they appear, on a case-by-case basis. Others are following policies they have instituted and are consulting attorneys or ignoring them altogether. What is right? What is wrong? As a reporter and editor for SHRM Online and HR Magazine, publications of the Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, an organization dedicated to assisting human resource professionals, I have witnessed the birth of social media and the ever-evolving use of social networking. I have been adventurous in my career as an editor and reporter. It was in that spirit that I hopped on Twitter in 2009 when the former chief operating officer of SHRM, China Gorman, went on the site to engage HR professionals. I, too, was leery at first, especially about putting my profile on LinkedIn, and then venturing on to Facebook and just about every other social networking site mentioned in this book. As a social media lurker initially, and then an active contributor, I have watched in fascination at the power social media has to transform lives. I have also learned a lot, too. And as a journalist, one of the things I love about my career is how much I have learned through social interactions, on and off the web. My colleagues and I have spoken to hundreds of HR professionals, experts and novices of social media who are curious, concerned, and enthralled by the ability this new communication mechanism possesses to change and enhance lives. Yet, too many companies, whether from fear, confusion, or a stubborn inability to embrace change, are continuing to ban employee use of what has essentially become our new telephone. It is my hope that this book, which draws from dozens of interviews, research, and best practices of HR professionals operating within the social realm, will provide guidance on how to handle bad situations, hopefully before they occur. But as managers, to do that, you must understand how social media works, how it has changed the landscape of the professional work environment, which networks employees are using, how they are using them, how often, and when. Basically 24/7. Good companies pay attention to the social networking sites their customers and employees inhabit. They watch their behaviors. They listen to their concerns. They apologize when their companies make mistakes. They are transparent and honest. And they engage their audiences and employees to foster growth, increase brand awareness, and tap their collective knowledge to improve their bottom lines. If you are unaware of how social networking sites operate, what their culture is like, and how people behave on these sites, your employees' activities there may affect your company in any number of ways. Can employees really write whatever they want on a social networking site? Yes. Should they? Are they entitled to privacy on social networking sites? whether they are engaging in social media activities while at work or on weekends, on their own devices. How private is private when it is shared with 250 friends? What is HR to do? As social media continues its metamorphosis, employers must have a grasp on its uses, not just within the social realm, but within the business context as well. Social media is not a waste of time or a fad. It can enhance business strategy and provide analytics to foster corporate growth and development, as well as help employees find solutions and come up with innovative ideas, even as they network with colleagues, peers, and friends. Anyone who manages employees who access social media from the palms of their hands must stay abreast of the constantly shifting ways social media does all these things, while helping employees maintain productivity and avoid damaging reputations. In addition, managers must help employees be mindful of corporate values while safeguarding corporate data. This resource will help managers guide employees in their use of such sites while balancing productivity, and will help HR professionals set policies that do both. Change is never easy, yet we live in a world that is changing every single day. Social media is a new, ever-evolving tool that can help expand our knowledge and our reach, and help us innovate and collaborate in bold, new ways. Embrace it. 2. What is social media? How do you pay attention to your kids or your career if you're not on LinkedIn or Facebook? It's almost like you're saying, I'm going to stay stuck in the dark ages while everybody else is going through a stage of enlightenment. Lori Rudiman, HR consultant. It's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's LinkedIn, it's Google's Blogger and Google+, YouTube, and niche site Sherm Connect. It's Instagram and Pinterest. It's Quora and GetGlue. It's Foursquare, MySpace. Yes, people are still using it. Imager, Fancy, Reddit, Yammer, Chatter, Posterous, Path, Second Life, Letterboxd, Vidi, and now the many games through Zynga. It's DeviantArt, LiveJournal, Tagged, Orkut, Cafe Mom, Ning, Meetup, My Life, My Yearbook, and Badoo. Even Pandora has a social networking component. Social media is niche communities of practice where doctors, scientists, technophobes, youngsters, singletons, boomers, and millennials are congregating to share, engage, meet, and innovate online. It is also podcasting and the many blog sites like Tumblr, Blogger, WordPress, and Storify. The list is not conclusive or exhaustive. Oh, not by any means. New social sites appear seemingly every day. Social media is any website or mobile application, app, that allows people to connect and engage others in direct dialogue, without editorial filters. A scary concept for most corporations fearful that employees will damage their brands. For HR professionals and people managers everywhere, it can either be a bane to their existence or a really, really cool collaboration tool. Social media is, in a nutshell, content generated by online users. It is back and forth communication. It's engaging with people, whether near or far, in ways that have never been done before. It's pervasive and invasive. But more important is that it's not going anywhere. Newsflash, this is the way we communicate. Get over it. Let's face it, your employees are already on Facebook, Google Blogger, Twitter, LinkedIn, Flickr, and Google+, and will most certainly be on whatever shiny new social network that has not been developed yet, but will probably be just as hip and exciting. They are adding their comments and expressing their opinions under articles and blogs, and in other forums as well. They are not using their desktop computers either. Most are deploying social media from an iPhone, iPad, BlackBerry, Android, Windows Phone, Kindle Fire, or other device. They are using it in their cars, hopefully not while driving, under their desks, and in the bathroom. If employees can't access social media, they're cut off from their peers and the news. It's isolating and unrealistic, Raleigh, North Carolina-based HR consultant Lori Rudiman told me during an interview. Your employees are not robots. They don't show up 9 to 5 and just work. They bring their lives in with them, and you want them to go out externally and understand what's happening in the world, and bring that back into your workforce, she said. Social media does just that. So forget about stopping them from chatting on Facebook, huddling on Google, tweeting, or playing Angry Birds, Farmville, Scramble, Draw Something, or Words with Friends. All of the sites have become so tightly woven into our lives with more than 1 billion people using them that expecting employees to curtail these activities at work, particularly members of Generation Y who have grown up working and playing, otherwise known as multitasking, is futile at best and most likely unrealistic. Consider Cisco's 2012 Connected Word Technology Report. In a news release, Cisco stated that, while 2 out of 5 respondents said their company's policy forbids them to use company-issued devices for non-work activities, nearly 3 out of 4, 71%, said they don't always obey those policies. The craving to stay connected means that the lines between work and social life/family life are blurring. People check for work updates and communicate at all hours from every place imaginable. Time is elastic. For Generation Y, there are no clear markers between the workday and personal time. Both blend and overlap throughout the day and night. In fact, some studies show job candidates trust companies more when they are allowed to use social media. Within those companies that successfully use internal social media tools, Yammer, Chatter, etc., employees are 60% more likely to give their employer the benefit of the doubt during a crisis, 67% more likely to support government policies that their company supports, and 39% more likely to recommend their company's products and services to friends and family members outside of the company. In general, we're seeing in our research that social media can be a powerful tool for empowering employees to become eager and proactive brand ambassadors, willing to share ownership of their company's reputation. Scott Healy, a researcher with Gagan McDonald, wrote in January 2013. Healy also shared his research with me for the book. No one is advocating letting employees run wild, however. Quite the opposite. There are rules. Of course there are rules. You are in charge, after all. Laying out the ground rules will help you help employees be productive and engaged. But you have to use the tools to know how they work. As NPR Senior Director of Talent Acquisition and Innovation Lars Schmidt told me during an interview, social media allows you the ability to watch and observe thought leaders who are present in the space and see what they're reading, sharing, discussing, and see who they're interacting with. It's a window into a world of information unlike any other. It gives HR professionals the opportunity to connect with peers in any field, in any region throughout the world, Schmidt added. Social media is the great enabler of communication. As a social media advocate, journalist, and student and a power user of these tools, my goal is to inform executives, HR professionals, hiring managers, and supervisors of the benefits of allowing employees to use social media and to walk away with realistic expectations. Job performance will not be thrown out the window. Rather, this approach requires trust and transparency from the worker and the employer. After all, you are not hiring stupid people, so why treat them like nitwits after you have given them jobs? There are more than 7 billion people in the world, and more than 2.4 billion of them used the internet worldwide. Moreover, Nielsen reports that Americans spend more time on Facebook than on any other website on the internet. Google's Blogger comes in second, and Twitter comes in third. One study reported social media was harder to resist than sex. Statistics show that 1 out of every 7 minutes spent online is spent on Facebook, which reports that most of its users access the site from the palms of their hands. Little wonder, according to Reston, Virginia-based ComScore.com, as of June 2011, 78.5 million Americans owned smartphones, and Portio Research's Mobile Factbook 2012 reports that, at the end of 2011, there were nearly 6 billion mobile subscribers globally, and predicts that number to grow to more than 8 billion by the end of 2016, meaning there will be more mobile phone subscriptions than there are people worldwide. Think back to 2005. That year, most people went online to surf the web, shop, and email each other. Today, nearly 2 billion worldwide are accessing social media sites. But back then, companies used their websites for corporate communication, product promotion, customer service, and, in some cases, e-commerce. Relatively few people were members of online communities, McKinsey pointed out in a 2012 study. Social networking sites were for college students, and chief marketing officers did not worry about how many online fans liked their company's products. Telligent, a social networking site for corporations, reported in 2012 that people spend a quarter of their time online on social networking sites. According to Experience, the 2012 digital marketer, benchmark and trend report, 91% of adults used social media regularly in December 2011. More businesses are now turning to social networks to keep up with clients, customers, and their employees. In May 2012, Google and London-based marketing and research group Millward Brown commissioned the study How Social Technologies Drive Business Success. The international study found that 69% of 2,700 professionals in the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Spain, and Sweden predict that businesses that embrace social networking tools will grow faster than those that do not, and 53% believe those that do not embrace social media will not be around to discuss it. Gagan McDonald reported in December 2011 that 51% of employees polled said their companies use social media tools within their firms, and studies show that employees have more confidence in companies that use such tools to help them collaborate and solve core business problems. Yet, according to SHRM 2011 research, 43% of organizations blocked access to social media platforms on organization-owned computers or handheld devices, even though 68% of those organizations reported they currently use social media to reach external audiences. What's more, the use of such sites is growing across all age groups, including the workforce of the future. According to a 2012 study by the Pew Internet and American Life Project, half of adults and 3/4 of teenagers in America use social networking sites. Most of them are on Facebook. This is the way we communicate now. There is no going back. As of December 2012, Facebook was the largest social networking site in the world, with more than 1 billion monthly active users, according to its website. Facebook went public in spring of 2012. In October of 2012, website analytics firm Alexa reported that Facebook was the most popular site in the world. Search engines refer approximately 5% of visits to it. Alexa reported that, on average, users typically visit Facebook for roughly 25 minutes, with 48 seconds spent on each page view. Relative to the overall population of Internet users, this site's audience tends to be users who browse from school and home. They are also disproportionately women. Founded in February 2004 by one of Harvard's most successful college dropouts, Mark Zuckerberg, the company's growth has exploded with a reach into nearly every country on this planet. In May 2012, the Los Angeles Times reported that teenagers were abandoning the popular site for Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+, and texting each other on cell phones. But as the Pew study mentioned earlier states, we found no evidence among our sample that length of time using Facebook is associated with a decline in Facebook activity. On the contrary, the more time that has passed since a user started using Facebook, the more frequently he/she makes status updates, uses the like button, comments on friends' content, and tags friends in photos. Meanwhile, we continue to focus on growing our user base across all geographies, including relatively less penetrated.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?